The justice system, as it is presented to the public, is a facade designed to create the illusion of fairness, equity, and accountability, while in reality it serves as an instrument of control and oppression. It does not exist to uphold moral or ethical justice, but to protect and perpetuate the interests of the ruling class, corporations, and those in power. Laws are written, interpreted, and enforced in ways that prioritize the preservation of order and hierarchy over genuine fairness. This is not accidental, but an intentional design to ensure that the system functions to maintain existing power structures. The wealthy and influential operate within a completely different framework of accountability, shielded by their resources, connections, and the very institutions that claim to deliver impartiality. The foundation of this system is built on the principle that laws are not universal, but are instead tools to criminalize certain behaviors that threaten the established order while leaving systemic crimes unaddressed. Corporate entities are granted personhood, which affords them privileges far beyond those of actual individuals, allowing them to exploit resources, labor, and communities without meaningful consequence. Environmental destruction, labor exploitation, and financial fraud on a massive scale are met with negligible fines or no accountability at all, while petty crimes committed out of poverty or desperation are harshly punished to set examples for the rest of the population. This disparity reveals that the justice system operates not to protect people, but to reinforce the power dynamics between the elite and everyone else. The prison industrial complex epitomizes this corruption. Prisons are not centers of rehabilitation, but institutions of profit, where private companies benefit from mass incarceration and cheap, coerced labor. Entire industries depend on the steady flow of inmates, ensuring that policies, policing strategies, and sentencing laws prioritize imprisonment over addressing root causes such as poverty, inequality, and systemic neglect. Mandatory minimum sentences, three strikes laws, and other draconian measures creating a cycle of incarceration that feeds corporate profits while breaking families and communities. This is not justice, but exploitation, disguised as order. Policing, as the enforcement arm of this system, further highlights its inherent corruption. Police forces are not primarily tasked with protecting citizens, but with upholding the status quo. Their priorities lie in suppressing dissent, protecting private property, and enforcing laws that disproportionately harm the poor and marginalized. Militarization of police forces ensures that any challenge to the established order is met with overwhelming force, discouraging resistance and instilling fear. This dynamic is not about public safety, but about control, ensuring that populations remain subjugated and compliant. The judicial process itself is deeply flawed, favoring those with wealth and influence while punishing those without resources. Access to competent legal representation, the ability to post bail, and the capacity to navigate complex legal systems are privileges that the majority of people cannot afford. Public defenders are overburdened, underfunded, and unable to provide adequate defense, ensuring that outcomes are heavily skewed against the accused. Plea bargains, often coerced under the threat of harsher sentences, ensure that the vast majority of cases never see a fair trial. This system is not designed to uncover truth or deliver justice, but to expedite the processing of cases in a way that reinforces existing inequalities. Media narratives surrounding crime and justice are carefully constructed to reinforce these dynamics. Stories of violent crime are sensationalized to justify harsher policing and sentencing, while systemic issues like corruption, corporate malfeasance, and government misconduct are underreported or framed in ways that downplay their severity. This selective focus ensures that public outrage is directed at the symptoms of systemic decay rather than its causes, further entrenching the status quo. The justice system's failures are not accidental, but are features of a system designed to maintain order and control for the benefit of the few. It criminalizes poverty, dissent, and nonconformity while insulating the powerful from accountability. True justice cannot exist within such a framework because the system itself is antithetical to fairness and equality. Recognizing this reality requires discarding the illusion that laws and legal systems are neutral or impartial. They are tools of power, wielded to enforce a hierarchy that benefits those at the top while oppressing everyone else.